The last 24 hours in California have been a battlefield to keep your gun stores open during this COVID-19 crisis. We're going to explore that and so much more today on CRPA News. Right now, this morning, we at the California Rifle Pistol Association are fighting through that patchwork we spoke of yesterday of keeping gun stores open throughout the state. Today with me is Kevin Small, who is our field director and works with all of our different chapters and volunteers throughout the state. He is part of the team that has been working literally the last 24 hours on this issue that has went from San Diego all the way to Eureka, California, as different counties and local jurisdictions wrestle with what is an essential and what is a non-essential business. Of course, according to the California Rifle Pistol Association's legal counsel and ourselves, we see gun stores as essential for several reasons. The first of those is because it's necessary for people to be able to defend themselves, which Kevin and I are going to talk about as we get into what counties we're fighting this fight in. Kevin, thank you for being with us this morning. What are some of the things you're hearing on the streets?
Well, yeah, thank you. I actually want to start from the base here. We're actually kind of fortunate, being the statewide organization, that we have the programs that we have. So a huge shout out to everybody who is remaining safe per the governor's request for us to stay at home. But we do find ourselves fortunate that we have built the network that we have through our volunteer program, through our chapter program, and our business affiliate program. We've been able to get up-to-date information very quickly, whether it be telephone calls or emails that we're receiving from our local advocates. And it's really helped us jump on some of these areas quickly and try to express our view that these gun stores should be deemed essential so that they can stay open, allowing people to have access to firearms and ammunition.
Yeah, and I think it's important for our viewers to know that, you know, one of the things that we're talking with every county health department, sheriff's department, and a lot of local municipalities in this patchwork that we keep discussing has been essential to this is just strictly with law enforcement alone. And before people jump, I want you to understand what we're saying is gun stores are essential for the tracking and the lawful ownership of firearms. And there's been firearms that have been purchased prior to some of these attempted closures and closures that are prohibiting people from their lawful right to go and pick up their firearms. Not to mention that being able to pick up ammunition and firearms and a lot of the other survival supplies that gun stores sell are essential during this type of a crisis where things are limited. And I think it's important that people understand that this is lawful business, and especially in a state where we say that, you know, buying marijuana is necessary. You know, people could debate that all day long. We're not saying it is or isn't, but we're saying firearms are just, if not, in my personal opinion, much more necessary.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you know, the owners of these stores that are small businesses and a lot of the workers at the larger box stores are invested in this community, and they want to be able to provide these things for everyone. And I think that's kind of important as we consider how many places have closed their doors. These are people that want to continue and offer these things to people who need them and want them. They're not running from this virus in the sense that they need to be home and protected. They are thinking about their community and they want to continue to provide that service. And, you know, I think that's commendable to us, you know, to a certain point in just understanding that these people want to continue and help this community.
Yeah, one of the myths that has been developing over the past couple of days that some people have tried to use to close these gun stores down, Kevin, is this myth that, you know, all these people are just people stockpiling, when we have been able to find out, not just here in California, but nationwide, 75 to 85%, depending on who you talk to, says that these are all first-time buyers. These are people that never owned a firearm before. And I want people to let that sink in. These are law-abiding citizens who have said, hey, I realize government's not big enough to protect me during this crisis. I want to exercise my Second Amendment right, have that personal protection there afforded to me under the Constitution. And the nuance is so unusual for people not to understand to me is like in this state, you have to get, as you know, Kevin, a firearm safety certificate. And one of the brilliant things about that firearm safety certificate is a first-time person going to purchase a gun owner is learning about firearm safety. They are becoming a safer person just by going through that process. And so I think it's ironic when people are like, oh no, people are going to the store to buy a gun, they're not going to be safe. No, actually, it's absolutely a 180 on that position.
Yeah, and what a responsibility we have as a statewide organization that preaches safety to be able to offer them that. And I know that we are working on ways that we can do that while still being safe from our homes. So this is something that we're definitely coming out with, and we're urging all of the firearm suppliers that we're in contact with to get people on the CRPA website so that they can get further education on safety. Because that is, that is a big thing. 75 to 85% new gun ownership is huge. And I think it also speaks to the American testament where people go when they feel like they're, when we're in a crisis like this. They're getting food and they're getting firearms. I think that is kind of a big tell on where the American values lie, which is, again, another reason for them to be deemed essential businesses.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. So in LA County yesterday, we reported that Sheriff Villanueva, decides to let go of inmates and put them on the streets, and then to close gun stores. And we had several, as you know, Kevin, because you and I were both working with them yesterday. Gun stores do their best to work with their local city governments and stuff to stay open, to continue to provide services. Our legal counsel, and I want to do a shout out to Sam Paredes and Gun Owners of California, who another statewide organization that came in next to our side and fought this so well yesterday. And by late evening last night, the LA County council, not their people, their legal counsel, had said, no, you can't do that, and forced the sheriff to back off of those orders. And as a result, those stores are reopening this morning for business. We had San Diego Sheriff Gore. Want to do a shout out to him. He came out and immediately said, yes, it's an essential business. We've had other county sheriffs up and down the state, in places like Merced, Shasta, Yuba counties, and others that are coming up with letters and saying they're essential businesses. But as of this morning, we still have a couple others that we're fighting.
Yeah, and let's touch on that a little bit, because what you're really talking about is the spread of viable information. I know that you touched on this in your video yesterday, and it is a consistent outgoing message that CRPA is trying to spread. While we continue to work at home, we are working as hard as we can to give credible information. With social media and the internet the way that it is, it's very easy to spread rumors that all too many times end up being false. Whatever you see come out of CRPA is verifiable, is what I'm trying to say. We're working very hard to make sure that the message that we are sending has been verified on several levels. And I think that's important just to get people tuned in to the CRPA newsletter, because they know that information is going to be valuable and viable.
Kevin, I couldn't agree more. I mean, one of the focuses that we have right now is, I said yesterday, and I'll continue to say through this, is making sure that everything we say and do is factual. There will be some sources at the end of this video, like there will be from now on, so people can go look those up. What we're trying to do is put out the truth. And so the truth is, we're fighting to get Sportsman's Warehouse in Fresno back opened up, gun stores in Alameda and places like that. And this is just becoming very, very difficult and very, very much a challenge. But it's a challenge that I want to continue to remind people that CRPA has been through many, many things over the past 145 years and came out on top. And our team is amazing, Kevin. As you said earlier, we're working around the clock, literally in shifts to keep this thing going. And we're going to continue to do that for as long as it takes. Yeah, so one of the things that we can use from you, our viewers, is if you hear of closures, please send those in. The sooner we get those, the sooner we can react to them. And we're working, like I said, around the clock to do so. And share this information with as many people to get the word out, because we need people to know that they have support from the California Rifle Pistol Association and that we have not, backed off at all. If anything, we've redoubled our efforts.